Going live. Going live. Going live. Going live. You're live! That means, once again, it's time for me to say, you are listening to Let's Go JoJo, the weekly JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
How
And
are
it's
you?
me, Brian, and I'm going to slightly edit the formatting of this text so I don't get taken by surprise by the word about. Right. That's for next week. For this week, we are covering the anime that aired the week of the 2nd of January to the 8th of January, 2022. That's right, we've caught up to the future. But before we go to the future, we've got to go back to the past, 1st of December, 2021. With JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean, Episode 5, Prisoner of Love, in which we find our heroes still in the visiting room, covered in acid, slowly being dissolved.
You think like it'd be a boring thing if 3 episodes were set in the same fucking room, but because they're all dissolving in acid, we need to get out of here in time. No, it's very exciting and interesting.
Come on, get me out of here. No, you get me off. I'm so sleepy. How it goes for a lot of it.
Yes.
So it puts us in it does the dream within a dream thing again, where they do another daring escape. But this time it's Jotaro's dream.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like Jolene's going, Dad, you start plotting and the busted door open. He's just like, okay. It's like, wait a minute.
Yes. You already.
How do you know the name of that? I never said start flattening them out loud. And as far as I know, those stories never made the newspapers about killing a vampire in Egypt. So, it must be still a dream. But it's all right, because, it was. Yeah, that was Jolene trying to wake him up. She'd used her last ounce of her strength to, used to strain the car, waggle his head a bit. It's like, Dad, finally you're fucking awake. Get me out of here. Get us out of here. You can do this, or I can't even move. Okay, I got an idea. Okay, you stand. What's it called? Stone free. Yeah, get stone free out here for a minute. Okay, bring it over here. A little closer.
A little to the left.
A little closer. A little closer.
Punches.
Because as we know, any damage to the stand is done to the user. So Jolene is sent flying across the room and smashes into the door, opening it.
And where he's like, go save yourself. It's like, okay, but that just punched me, but he did do it for the purpose of saving me.
What the fuck?
And now I gotta crawl back into the acid room to try and drag his ass out as well.
Yes. Well, she can't say the Gundam line anymore. Not even my own father hit me. I don't know why that went through my mind at that point.
It's been done. It's a cliche joke at this stage. It's a JoJo. We're about originality, except when we're trying to innovate and rip off horror movie premises.
And now they're going to make their escape. Luckily, Jotaro has a map of the prison. We've got to go
he had planned on escaping, so that makes sense. Yeah.
We go from here to this window here, and we run to the beach where a submarine from an organisation who I'm friendly with, called the Speedwagon Foundation, will pick us up.
Speedwagon Foundation, more like fucking like your Hertz submarine rental. Because the fun made of submarines. Some of submarines we've been sent to these guys.
I mean, the last submarine they rented for these guys was like a full kit-out submarine, and they crashed it in the God, what's the name of that sea?
Into a giant face.
Into a giant
in the Red
face.
Sea.
In the Red Sea. It's just like, come on, lads.
Well, he needs it for his marine biology. That's why he's going to borrow their submarines frequently.
I've no idea what the Speedwagon Foundation does. Do they look for vampires, or is it just like, if the Joestar family asks for anything, we have to fucking sort them out? Like, we're legally obligated to sort them out. I
suspect that's what the has been put in REO Speedwagon's will way back when.
Yeah. The Speedwagon Foundation is just like a hedge fund for the purposes of funding the Joestar family in their wild and bizarre adventures. Yeah.
Yes.
Would acquire Toys R Us and super for assets, all for the greater good of destroying vampires.
And as they leave, we see a slimy hand comment on how surprising it is they were able to escape the room.
Almost had them. They're going down the hallway. It's like, okay, everything looks fine. Coast is clear. We just get through this door right here. It's like, could be something off. Are we being followed? I don't know about this. And then, because you're getting the sense as well, and they're playing on your mind, and as a viewer as well, it's like, are they trapped in a dream again? Because they're kind of saying, something off about the room.
Things
right
are
now.
working out for
Like
them,
a
therefore you
bad
think
feeling.
it's a dream again. And
Yeah.
Jolene's kind of looking over her shoulder. It's like, is someone following us, or am I just thinking that, or is this actually happening? Yeah.
And there's sequences of like repeatedly being told to hang on to this pendant, and then her dropping it, and then and then she looks confused as if to wonder, like, I don't remember dropping it. How did I thought it was right in my hand. The pendant, as well as containing a piece of the arrowhead, which will give you a stand if you're lucky. It also contains a homing device for the Speedwagon Foundation to find you.
So the whole thing of it's like, oh, you never loved me, Dad. You were never there for me. It's like, no, I put a tracking device in that pendant. I'm always looking out for you.
Yeah.
Like,
but
it's less so that this is like, a weird dream thing. It's just sort of just that JoJo was incredibly awkward and pretty cold to his own daughter. So it's just a very awkward exchange. It's like, you should be more careful. Oh, I didn't know you worried about me at that. No, you dropped this incredibly bad repellent I told you about. Hold on to it, will you? It's like, he's always been, well, I fucking stole that car last time and got in jail, and Mom bailed me out. You weren't there.
Yeah, I'm guessing, like, again, his life experience has made him an awful parent. Well, I mean, like, his just general disposition. But he's like, so you went to jail for stealing a car as a teenager. That's nothing. I locked myself in jail as a teenager because I had a ghost. That's fine. Fucking just walk it off.
I was listening to the radio and reading Shoot and Jump like a real criminal.
Damn.
But the thing seems to seem off, and it's just like, oh, what's going on? Because there is someone else following us. Get down. And then there's the guards out there. Well, it's saying, whoa, who broke this door?
Well, the first guard who walks up to the door is like, nope, nothing to see here. And then the second guard is like, what are you talking about? This fucking steel gate has been busted the fuck open by a fist, apparently. This is really messed up. Right. We ought to ring this in. Hey, I'm just going
to call for backup.
And he immediately gets shot in the head by a very well disguised, I've forgotten his
John Gallier.
John Gallier. He managed to fit all that hair underneath the head. It's impressive. Yeah.
The old, get all that kind of long tresses into the space helmet trick or whatever like that.
Yeah.
He sends a stand and it's a fun. There's Manhattan transfer. But are we in a dream? George is fun. Got out quick. The bullets are flying. Gotta save my daughter. Star Platinum's the world, though.
As he mentioned to Julian before, it's like that was 2 stand powers. So it's just like, okay, so there's probably, if that's real, then that means that the acid thing was a separate stand, which means that we're fighting 2 guys at the same time here. It's like, shit, okay.
Yeah. And poking out of the vent, or just up there in the corner of the room, as he looks around as time is frozen. There's a guy, there's a weirdo stand-looking dude crawling up on the ceiling there. So there was 2 of them all along. Gotta think fast. They're not after Jolene. They're after luring me here all along. But she's got bullets flying at her. Gotta save my daughter because I do love her after all. Jolene, get out of the way! Time is unfrozen. And he takes the hits, or manages kind of like get Star Platinum about punch him away. Everything seems fine. It's like, checkmate, Jotaro. I was counting on you doing that as White Snake, the stand, crippled on the ceiling. It's like, just gives me a little clunk on the head there. And then the CD tray in Jotaro said the slide's open. And like that's some
I have the CD or CD-ROMs that are you, and this is my plan all along, apparently. What's the subtitle of White Snake? It's
Pale Snake.
Yes. Good stuff.
And then John Gallier is going to have another go at. He's like, okay. I'll try and finish Jolene off. Now my boss has got what they wanted. But Jolene starts playing with him with her stand. Accidentally shoots her dad in the process as she deflects the bullets by running them along the strings, and then just seems to like do terribly cruel things to a blind man by constantly spinning him around.
Yeah. I mean, like, he's a blind man with a gun who wants to kill you because he's realized how dangerous you are. You're the dangerous one. I should have went for you first and then your father.
Yep.
Yeah, so
hold that pose, please, while I beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, she wants to punch him from a certain angle because that's the most satisfying angle to punch someone from.
But he is wondering.
And then when Jotaro was slumping against the wall, the blood is going down it, and he's like seeing his little girl, or the fuck out of that dude. It's just like, yep, you're totally a Joestar.
Yes,
You have
the battle
you
music.
can carry
has
on the
started
wheel.
playing. Yeah, but John Garley does wonder, like, why did we not know about this stand? We should have known that before she was in the prison.
I should have been informed of like that before the assassination that we were planning here, or the CD-ROM stealing that we were planning here.
Yeah. Which is Whitesnake's deal, because it's quick go around and steal people's stands and put them into other people as well. So it's like, well, that's not one of mine. So someone else is going around here popping stands up. So.
Yeah. And as Jotaro is fading, he comments like, it was only a dream, but I saw you willing to stay in the prison to defend that little boy. So I know you've been raised right. And
by not me.
Child.
You go on escape, leave me here. I'll make my own way. And she's having none of it and drags his body to the submarine.
Now, why did she just let his body slump into the water where he can't move? He would surely drown.
I think that, I think it was like,
no, why?
She left him like grand, and then because she didn't realize that the life was ebbing from him, or it wasn't accepting it. Like, I think the tide was coming in and just slowly pulled him in while she was like, "How do we open this fucking submarine?"
For a long time with that submarine.
Yeah. But he's well underwater. He's not breathing. He's got several holes in him, but we already noticed that. And she's like, "No, father, my father has died." So she's like, "I better sneak back into prison and make it look like I wasn't trying to escape."
And also find the killer, because she knows whoever
they escaped into the prison, not out of it.
Yeah, whoever tried to kill her father is still in the prison. So that's where you need to go. Also, she has a conversation with the little baseball boy, whose backstory is his mother gave birth to him in prison, and he's been hiding in the walls ever since as a baseball boy. That's his backstory. That bone was his mother's pelvic bone. He was melted to everything but a pelvic bone, or something like that.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I was like, really? That's your backstory all covered? That's why there's a baseball boy living? Okay, fine. Yeah, sure, George. Dear. But yeah, she resolves to, because she thinks, well, he wasn't killed like normally, even though with all the bullet holes and being submerged underwater. It's just like, no. The CDs. If I get the CDs back, I can surely save him.
Well, it's like, hey, look, Jotaro is alive, but it's in a can't take the got him onto the submarine. He's out of there. That's it. Otherwise, why would she be here to begin with? No, there is like actual stakes here involved in trying to rescue his soul. It's more like his fucking memories really, or anything like that.
Because we see the first time the compact disc get taken out of the out of his body, that we can see one is Star Platinum, but at the end of it, he kind of like, I have two of these, and one of them has Jotaro's picture on it. So presumably it's personality and stand or some combination thereof. Yeah.
And we know Jotaro's mid-Oster and stuff. I mean, he stopped his own heart to evade detection. This is just like a regular Tuesday for him.
Yeah, but as John Gallier is like, oh wow, okay, we got him, right? Okay, we got him, cool. I guess everything went well. Hey, have you seen my gun? I can't seem to find my gun anywhere.
Yep,
I dropped
it right here.
Yeah, and it's like, you're the only one who knows what I look like. I was like, one of those bad guys.
Fucking the only one who can see you because you're a fucking stand. But by knows who the stand user is, who's swimming in the prison.
He knows his personality. So we're on. Is that the third? I don't want to be seen by anyone. Baddie we have enjoyed so far.
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
You don't want to.
I'm fine with it. It's a good bit. It's like, no one look at me or I'll kill you.
Just want to live a quiet life.
In prison.
I do like I've always enjoyed the look of Whitesnake. I think that's like a good kind of. It looks like this, like, it's probably something to do with, like, with it has these kind of like leather accoutrement. It's the most like Cenobite one I think we've seen these in a long time, and it has like it's way it kind of steals information from people like that. It's got all the genetic kind of like lettering, the GATC, all kind of in sequence around it. It's nice and goopy as well. I forgot how goopy it was.
Yeah, if you listen to the dub, they talk about how goopy he is a lot.
Smells so bad.
It's the quickest way to describe him, as goopy. Yeah.
Yeah, with kind of a crown. But then, like, it's you know, it's kind of like it's good that Jotaro is actually alive. Just want to say that right now. Just dispel any worries, people, if I'm watching at home, even though I've seen this by now, they can't help themselves. But we're just discussing ourselves amongst ourselves.
Well, I mean, like, it'd be kind of silly to be working towards the goal of saving him if there was no chance of it.
Yeah, but it'd be pretty crap if he went out like that, drowning in like 2 inches of water or whatever after being shot. Like that. It didn't feel like very like a fitting end for a guy like him. But it's important then that we know that he's incapacitated for sure. Jolene is the hero.
He's got no backup.
Yeah, she's in this alone. She's in deep. Got to punch her own way out. Or her own way in, as a case may be.
Yeah.
Yep. And what's the episode next week?
Hermes stickers.
That's it.
So I kind of wonder, like, it's stickers. Is that the copyright dodging titling they put onto her stand, Kiss? Because again, Kiss is a very like common word. I'm not sure the band has like the fucking lock on that. Unless it's been like abbreviated, or
it is Kiss though we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, if anyone's gonna fucking sue you over it, it'll probably be them.
No free rides, as Gene Simmons once said.
Oh, Knights in Stand Service. Okay.
Smack, apparently. No, that's the All-Star Battle localization. So it may just be called Kiss in there, because that's the only localized name they've got on the wiki.
I've seen them, like, they've changed some regular ass words to a funny thing just for fun. Let's see what we can mangle this into, even though we can hear the character say it out loud.
And they could argue it's named after the Prince song.
But then you get their body right. But
have fucking Kiss and Prince's estate fucking fight over it.
Yep, a good episode. I mean, I would say the animation is not setting the world on fire throughout these episodes
not
so
quite.
far.
No.
I think those first 13 episodes of Part 4 are still the highlight for animation for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I mean, like, they do have like the good effects, like we said the last day, of the things melting effects. Like, they have the visual kind of look of it down, but it's not like super impressive.
And when it's got to nail an iconic panel, it nails the iconic panel. This episode being the pulling the discs out of Jotaro's head.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of what you want to get. You want to get those very strong visual beats down. Yeah.
It'll pick up, I think, once we'll be getting just the crew together, getting the team together. Because you gotta have friends on the inside. You gotta form like a gang inside your prison, or else how you're gonna survive. And then once you kind of have them assembled, then you can, but now we can kind of send however many like enemy stand users after them with weird things and put them in the situation. Then we kind of get into like the nice rhythm of it, and then we can kind of hit their stride with it, I suppose. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then we've got from this week, it is Ranking of Kings, episode 12, Battle Footsteps. Which I'll have to remind myself what happened in this. First of all, we get a lengthy recap for those people who are hopping on, like those people on Crunchyroll, because it joined Crunchyroll after Christmas.
I see.
Did you get a weird thing where like a lot of the other language subs and dubs like appeared between episode 11 and episode 12?
Yes.
It was really weird arrangement.
They often do that when like they just I was thinking a new episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, it's the Portuguese dub. Okay, that always threw me off. The same with like Rumagun. That always like, oh, it's out early. No, it's not.
No.
Yeah, I kind of wish like there was like a separate section for like Portuguese dub of X, like it was in a separate thing, because it's kind of a confusing layout. It's easy enough to skip to the one.
I suppose this happens when they maybe like at least initially they aren't done like simultaneously when it's coming out, and then they come off and the backlog goes up all at once as well.
It tends to get a bit clogged up, alright.
Yeah.
Recap, you get new intro sequence with new things in there for you to ponder. Ooh, who's that dude? Who's that dude? I hope he shows up soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is Desha and Despa's background? I suspect we're going to get that at some point. The king seems to be able to produce lightning from his hands.
But that's all in the future. We're here in the present now. We're getting back to, okay, we got all these escaped convict prisoners and sort of like intermediary kings. What are they going to do? What's the plan?
Even
the plan is to immediately turn on each other.
Even then, like, walking on the corridor. So what did you, like, bring us here for? And she's like, I don't fucking care. Do what you want. And they're just like, cool, we're going to, like, try and attack your boys. Then, they were puppets, I guess. Yeah. I guess we. Oh shit! You turn into a diamond, and it's like, hey, don't fight them, Spear Dude. It's cool. Let them do what the hell they want. And they're like, maybe we should listen to her up to the point we get out of this place with all these frozen monsters.
Zoku, the Bandit King, has a bit of wherewithal, because he's learned his thing on the streets. He knows how to survive. He's thinking, maybe we shouldn't just have a discussion in the room with all the frozen chimeras. Let's go to this. Let's adjourn to the throne room and go on there. Then they get a hold of like an empty throne. Like, let's get me some of that. Because we're all kings.
Yeah, does it like we get a kind of an idea of some of them? I thought for the longest time that is it Kingbo?
Kingbo, yes.
Kingbo, great fucking name. I thought for the longest time he was incapable of speech and just capable of manic laughter. Because he just spent so much of the early part of the episode just laughing at whatever was happening.
Well, he could have been driven insane by a tragic backstory.
Probably, yeah.
Because his dad appears to be the king of the forest who we met and was just being insane. He's got the same mustache on him.
One of the prior winners of this whole ranking of kings, yeah.
And said, boy, you will be a fine king one of these days. Have your heart full of compassion and kindness. Now, you wait right here while I go slaughter the entire castle.
Yeah, I assume those were in two slightly different time frames. I assume that was like before...
He went
to get the treasure, and then after he's gone and got the treasure. So we see him standing outside a burning city carrying some sort of rune sword. Which, if you go back to episode 4, the rumor that Apis has heard is that the winners keep on picking the same treasure from the treasure hoard, and they either go missing or insane. Yeah.
It doesn't go well for them. But yeah, we only get this tragic backstory after he becomes a complete dick, so I guess we don't sympathize with him too much.
Yes. This is after he's being beaten up by an even bigger dick. What's his name? That's him.
Yes.
Not Shiryu, a completely different character.
He's the first one to sit down in the throne, and he's like, throne for me, and then King Bo's like, get the fuck out of that. I'm gonna make it my chair, and he seems to be kind of like initially, they're gonna fight. Like, no, he's not gonna fight him. And
he's gonna have his knees are knocking. He's like, damn, goddamn coward and pathetic. Because I'm again, he's like, he goes over to the wall. And it's just like, oh, is he crying? It's like, no, it's just like, you're a big brave king. You're a big brave king. You go over and talk to him right now. Oh, like back for more. Yeah, but it's like, oh, he's got magical powers. He paralyzed him, and while he's paralyzed, he's gonna like cut your wrists and your Achilles tendons probably, and stab you in the back loads of times. And then he's gonna watch you on the ground. He's gonna get on his hunkers and kind of like, as much as like a rigid mask can like express. I guess with the angles, it looks like it's kind of smiling from certain angles. It's just like going,
yeah. Also, they put the blushing in that he's really enjoying the pain.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. And Boku then picks the crown up and offers it to him, and he shakes his head. So Boku's like, okay, right, I'll go and put the crown on.
I'm the king.
I'm the
by
king
default, because the other guys left the fucking throne room because our magic.
Ranger's gone outside and said, "Oops, I smell me a party company breaching the walls." Okay, you and you outside. We're gonna deal with this.
Because obviously our. So I was going to say the knights show up. I was like, which fucking knights? The queen and her boys are showing up to go like, hey, we're fucking taking back the castle because Boji and the underworld knights haven't shown up yet. Your man keeps going like, to tell you the truth, and he's kind of like, oh god, I really want to tell you what's happening, kid, but like I'm under orders.
He's dancing around this, some dudes, there's some bad convicts, they have some kind of scheme. They've infiltrated the castle and they've taken it over. The plot might be to overthrow and take over the country.
Yeah,
we don't know what it is yet.
I did like his implying that because it's like, hey, you might be in for a fight for your own kingdom, kid. Against me, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
What about Despot? He be right with us, no, because we need his cunning and his wits to aid us in this battle. He's going to be a little bit behind though, because he's got to go get his horse. Otherwise, how's he going to get here?
His mighty steed. I remember. What's that? I've forgotten the horse's name.
Is it
It's
White
White
King?
King.
Yeah.
White King. Yes, noble steed.
Yeah, which the guy is saying is like, yes, one fist and Astra, you got Koku, oh, you got Black King. So this is the White King, this is the opposite number. And it's a magnificent fat pony. Well, it's gotten fat in the intervening years because no one else is allowed to mount his mighty back.
No one else can. It's like basically it responds only to him. Like
yes.
The King of Horses responds only to fucking Despot, and he's like king ways. And based on that, they cannot control this thing's fucking eating habits, and it's just gotten really fat, which is that's good. Yeah.
You can't check him up for exercise; he won't go anywhere. So you just
But yes, the look of adoration he's got there when he sees Despot is fantastic.
If you look behind Wayne, you can get a sense of that.
But yeah, it looks
a mighty steed.
It looks like I can't remember which period of art it is, but when they used to draw the horses, like absolutely massive,
spherical fucking horses. Yeah. Oh, beautiful things. Big horse is best horse, but yeah. I was delighted by that. That's a good bit. Despot's like. I mean, I love a lot of the characters in it, but he's such a good character. He's like really competent, but a fucking dipshit, and everything around him kind of goes to shit because he's so stupid, including this horse.
You want like a fallible character, because you root for them even more so because of their fallibility when they're fucking stuff. That's just it. That's what a lot of these fantasy things get wrong. It's like, wouldn't it be great for a hero to be like, this perfect, cool, handsome, good guy? Yeah, that's what we just want to see.
Yeah, and it's specifically that his brother is paying him to come along specifically because they're going to have to deal with Oaken. So yeah, that was.
Yeah, so we need to kind of like a cheaty, kind of underhanded dude to take on our cheaty, underhanded dude.
Yeah, I wonder if they've got some sort of shared history, the three of them. That would be my guess. I imagine the others are just a bunch of criminals and wild people they had to put in prison. King Bo's body is thrown over the battlements, where it is found by Bebin and the snakes. And
Bebin is like, a corpse. Kind of like kicks it. It's like, all right, bury it, lads.
And then he twitches. He's not dead yet.
So the has shown up at the gates, and it's kind of like, hey, what the fuck is going on here? It's like, hey, who's in charge of this whole operation? And it's hey, it's me, Miranjo. I'm a magic mirror. I'm fucking shit up. I'm gonna destroy this kingdom. How do you like that?
Yeah, I suppose it's like, we've seen like Miranjo in the mirror around a lot, but it's like, when have they seen it? It's mostly just been talking to Daida in his own chambers for the most part. So with what makes sense. Oh yeah, the hitting is going, where have I seen that magic mirror before? It seems very familiar.
Yeah, whereas we know Bebin's been suspicious of the mirror since episode 1.
So tacky, doesn't fit with the decor of the room.
It's nice that we've all these different parties like vying for different things, mostly trying to take over or retake or untake this kingdom, but not all of them are aware of the same information that the other ones are. Yeah. They're really interesting odds with each other.
And then we get new ending credits as well, in a storybook style.
Yeah. That's kind of like the animated paper figures.
Like a lot of the shading looked like it was markers or something. It was really nice.
Yeah. I just appreciate like one. Wow, it was very like natural turn of events. What do you think was going to happen when you break out all these dangerous like convicts? Of course, they're going to just fun turn on each other and smash it.
Again, the stuff about parents rings through, and it has greater resonance once you read those interviews. Of like, oh yes, is it King Bo's another guy who appears to be messed up by
his
parents.
dad literally wandering in and ruining his fucking life. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It was like it didn't shy away from that. No, it was
Ooh.
like a pretty nasty scene where like it was like a load of dead bodies. Here it was like a mother and child in a pool of their own blood. Presumably his family as well. King Bo's is like, oh, gay. Hey, nasty.
You do. I don't know if we'll see the treasure hoard in this series. You see it in the first chapter of part 2, and I'm like, why are they taking the swords? There's all sorts of stuff in there.
It's a cool sword.
You could take a giraffe. There's a giraffe in the Divine Treasure Hoard.
Well, you can get giraffes just wandering around as well, like.
Mythical Kirin from the east. I've heard tell of it.
Yeah, good stuff. It definitely feels like it's turning more into an action anime at this point.
But it still keeps an amount of jokes and weirdness in it. Like,
yes,
even with King Bo like sitting in the chair and then getting up and chopping the armrest off, it's like, oh, there we go, that's better.
It's still like comparatively to him. It was like, he was like an inch of throne you can sit upon. It's not even a stool.
Yeah, because he's a very tall man sitting in a child's chair, and I think he chops off the armrest because he likes the man spread a bit. It's just like, yeah, fair enough.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a tiny little seed, massive back to it. Even if this were Boss's throne, it wouldn't fit into it properly.
Yeah. This was obviously made for the current version of Boss, which is going to be locked in the dungeons. He's not going to do anything about it because he did say, I'm going to wait and see what happens. So, yeah.
Yes. The biggest thing in the opening appears to show the young Miranjo playing around with the young version of the devil.
Which would explain how maybe she can speak devil. So, yeah.
Yes, and whether it's the same one they did the deal with. Old childhood friend. Probably is definitely the reason why the villagers attacked her. One would imagine, but I'm sure that will all play out. It felt a lot more like a One Piece opening of like, okay, we're just going to show you a bunch of stuff.
Here's a bunch of guys to defeat, that kind of thing. Yeah.
We assume at this point, 11 episodes in, you've run out and bought all the volumes of the comics.
You're all caught up.
Yeah.
And that's why it probably did the conveniently jump in the Crunchyroll as well. Like, it has that little, like, less than 5 minutes. Like, here's a recap where Boji's at. All right, cool.
It's also post-Christmas,
too.
So, like, hey, you might have heard about this. Maybe you got like a subscription for Christmas from Santa.
That's true.
Here's where you can just jump on now to go back on
it. Then we got Dragon Quest episode 64, The Night Before the Battle.
More fantasy
battles. We've got Leona being a bit of a stirrer.
Well, we're about to head off for the pocketed battle between good and evil, but I can't deny me. I loves me some gossip. Gotta get that up first. If I'm gonna die tomorrow, I want to have this memory.
Yeah, she likes the romantic drama, and since they haven't invented light novels yet, it's just like, I gotta see it in real world. So when your one's like, I'm bringing this spear to my boyfriend. I love him. He's rejected me, but I'm still gonna bring him his spear. Is that cool with you, ma'am? It's like,
hands off, lady.
Like, I call dibs, ma'am. So sorry, that's just the way it is.
Sure. Give him my regards.
How do I feel about the situation? She's asking herself.
I better go talk to the only person left of a similar age to me, and that's Pop, who it's that best friend, that platonic best friend who I view as almost a brother who I have romantic feelings for.
Oh dear. Yeah. And he's initially taking it well, but then she brings up the whole like Yunkel stuff, and he's it does the thing of his eyes in shadow. We only see his back. It's like, oh, he's not happy about this, and he kind of gives her a bollocking for it. We're about to go to war, and you're talking about fucking like teenage love bullshit. Come on.
Why would you go fucking marry Yunkel if you love him so much?
Yeah, and I think it's like, I think the implication is probably, since the characters are named Mom and Pop, it's just that it's like, hey, do you love someone? And she's like, I don't know. I'm gonna talk to someone unrelated. It's going to be Pop. Yeah.
Well, that's really like no Dai is there. Dai is like the child. No, if you see all the people he knows are their pop, their mom, and their uncle. It's like no, mom and pop seem to get along pretty well, but then there's like your uncle come along. He's kind of been thrown the dynamic off a little bit. He's like my mom's cool friend.
Yeah, and he's very disapproving of Leona's glee at all this teenage heartbreak going on.
But yeah, and Pop's also annoyed because basically the 5 aspects of this spell is just like, okay, it's clear that Mom is love because I'm in love with her. It's clear Dai is what? Courage, bravery, I've forgotten the thing.
Courage, because he's a courageous young man.
It's clear everyone's thing, but like I'm the 5th thing, and that one was all fucking like rubbed out, so I don't have a fucking clue what I'm supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and as he's angsting about what a terrible dick he's been to Mom, he imbues the magic item that Lon Burrock has brought, that Mom has delivered to him, with magical powers as he hurls it across, and he's been given the black rod, which is almost as good, if not equally as good, as that staff that Vern's got.
Because you put your magic into it, power. And it turns into physical power, and also it can like change length and do all kinds of weird stuff.
It extends like the Monkey King steps in the eyeball from Dragon Ball. Like, what's this? This is a super sweet wand. You can cast magic and it can smash it up real good. I shouldn't have yelled at Mom like that. Oh, she's going to be sore at me.
Mam's got an arm guard that your man has not explained what it does, but he said it's better on your non-dominant hand.
Well, did they all come with instructions?
They do all come with instructions.
They've all got a cool feature they will deploy in at just the right time.
I did like the fact that it's like, here, Dai, here's the instructions. Dai's like, could you read this to me, please?
I never learned.
Yeah, I still don't know how to read. So everyone's got the cool
Chiyu's got nunchucks.
Yeah.
Chiyu's got...
Now, that wasn't made by our Darkling guy. That was made by...
this is my invention.
This is a Bardock original. It'll cut up your enemies. It's like, yeah, but it'll cut up my fucking hands when I pick it up. Like, thanks, Bardock, I guess. Speaking of, I love that her weaponsmith is just going around being drunk and surly to everyone. It's like, so all you humans are going to attack him. That's a fucking stupid plan. Knocks back another bottle. It's just like, no wonder all the humans are like, son of a bitch, who the fuck is this guy?
It's like, why are you even helping us if you think we're so shit? It's because you're so shit that I want to help you, because that's much more interesting than helping out somebody like Vern. You know, if you put a knife into his hand, it would be the best knife in the world.
Yeah, it's like it's so boring to help.
He's trying to be nice.
I always back the losing team. It's just like everything he says. It's such a neg. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Also, Cheer has got some badges for
medal ceremony,
so that people don't think they're regular monsters. So if you see a bear wearing a tiny little badge with its the indication of its rank on it, don't attack that bear.
Yes, but hang on a second. I've got 10 badges and there's 11 of you.
A ghost. Oh wait, no, it's you, Master. You can tell the sheet now. No, I want to be in the sheet. It's more fun this way. Ooh.
Yes, he's now drawn whiskers on his sheet, so he can be Mr. Beast.
He's also put a wig on the ghost, so it's a completely different character.
Oh, that dude you saw in the martial arts tournament? No. There's lots of ghosts around these parts.
And then to like how that scene ends with him. And also I need a badge just like everyone else.
If there's badges going, gimme, yeah.
That's sort of like again, even something we've seen as recently in Rubicon. Here's like, obviously hench, very wise, fucking old master, but acts like this like kind of spoiled, rotten child, and the rest of the time it's like, oh, everyone else got one. I want to have one too.
Oh dear.
And then Merle makes Dai some... What is it? What sort of food is it she gives him?
It makes him like it's used like because if he can't sleep, he's too fucking hyped up. He's got the school tour. I mean, like the battle tomorrow. So
a
like
dream
do you up?
Seed. That's it.
I'll do you up as something with the dream seeds and give you some nice sleep. You're pure fart to give you a nice dream. Yeah, it's just like this dream then of playing in the frolicking in the meadows with his dearly departed mother. And he's like, oh, if only I had a regular childhood with my mammy, who was making her flower crowns. Then Baran approaches and the flowers die away, but he's powerless as well. That's just his nature. He can't help it, but he still has love for his wife and for his son. Then it's like Kaisto's like, yes, I know. I will carry on as well. I know this is a dream, but I feel like this is something that I've got to make real for myself.
Mm-hmm. I did like her thing as well.
Like, we're proud of you.
She can't fight, but she can make healing herbs and stuff. And it's just like, yep, I'll just pass them out among the army tomorrow. Yeah.
And then the last thing we see are Hyuncle and Crocodile on crucifixes waiting to be executed.
Yeah.
Dear.
Nothing but respect for my savior.
I mean, like, they do have a new axe for Crocodile as well. So, I mean, they can't kill him off before we see the new axe, right? Right?
Yeah, I mean, again, once again, this feels like the final arc, but I'm pretty sure it's not.
How? This fucking show. It's only frustrating in that regard,
like
and every other regard it's very enjoyable. Yeah.
There's a guy in the opening who notably isn't here yet.
Yeah.
Shows up for the final battle. Sure.
And there are characters there on Fizz we've seen in that, who we know they're definitely dead, but also does who we saw die in like previous fucking episode, like long ago. We thought, oh, he's surely dead,
Alexa,
right?
Stop. Sorry, Alexa's reading a Wikipedia entry to me for some reason.
Sure.
Crucifixion, history thereof.
No. Also, our boy and his chess pieces haven't shown up again, and we know they start beating the shit out of each other based on the intro.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to I just want to square off. Well, okay, who has the most beef with Dark King Byrne?
Yeah,
we're going to have a tussle right here to see who gets to punch him first.
Dear.
All good stuff. And then we've got Detective Conan 1090, Taiko Meijin Shogi board, opening move.
I have the wrong episode number here. I have 1033 put in. I did watch the right episode though.
That might be right. I might have the wrong number put in.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking 1090 seemed a lot high.
Once you get up to ridiculous things like that, it's like, what can you do with 20 million you can't do with 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, I may. Let's have a look. That might be like the concurrent number. Yes, that's the concurrent number, not the actual number. Yeah, 1033 is the actual number.
Okay. Whew. As long as I watched the one about the Shogi thing. That's all right.
I think it might be like 1090 if you include remasters and stuff.
Right. Okay.
Or
like Shogi would definitely seem like the kind of thing that cropped up in a Conan mystery, like at least once before, and if not multiple.
I mean,
times.
Not only has it cropped up before, but basically anyone who was involved in prior Shogi mysteries shows up in this episode, as far as I can tell. It's like, guys, remember that guy? It's like, I do remember that guy. I was like, I haven't seen that one. I'm glad you're catching me up.
Well, yeah, don't worry. They know you might not have seen it because they will catch you up on it.
I'm good. I'm all caught up on who's what.
Yes, all the Shogi murderers. You got to break them out, like grabbing her back here.
It was all fine and dandy. The episode was all like flowers and fucking candy for ages, but then as soon as it's like, hello, I'm character, and it said character name, age, occupation, I was like, oh shit, okay, here we go. Someone getting fucking murdered. All right.
So what are the kids out and about doing at the start?
They are out going somewhere, presumably, because they're wearing their school bags, and they're talking about soccer, which Conan seems to know very little about, despite being a big fan of the football.
Yes, he's a big fan of kicking footballs at criminals' heads.
But he doesn't follow who's who in terms of footballing stuff, because they're all like, they don't know that this dynamic duo is called, what are they called? It's not M&M, H&H, double H.
H&H, yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's somehow going to play into solving the mystery. It's not going to be related to it, but like a double thing is going to.
Yeah, it was like the last time where it was like the kid was allergic to crab or shellfish, but it was like it was about an allergy, but it wasn't about a shellfish allergy. Yeah, that kind of way.
Yeah, then he's going back to thinking about we were talking about where the mother might have worked from the last mystery. You know, the one which happened, and we ignored all those non-canon mysteries which happened between times.
Yeah, I did ignore them. I skipped to this one. Okay, good. I'm all caught up.
And he's like, oh, well, and then we like recap. Okay, the dead, they call it brother-in-law, but it's like the adoptive. Basically, Shukichi, who is he's also known as his professional name is Taiko Meijin, was adopted into this big shogi playing family,
To play shogi.
and the son of the family was poisoned by the black organization with the same poison that has shrunk I and Conan, but an earlier version which just straight up killed him.
A better version because it's a regular poison.
Well, no, I don't think that. I feel like
cyanide in his drink rather than this weird thing we talked about.
Where you become a baby.
Feel like,
yeah,
I'm not entirely sure what they were after because given like supposedly the head of the organization is 120 years old, I suspect making you younger is probably the intention, but maybe not making you a small child.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, maybe that's the thing, like, because the other one with the thing, she took it and is a slightly older child, or maybe you age up naturally and then you take the thing again and you age down to a child, and it's just constant recycling. I don't know.
And then he's looking at his phone, and whenever he searched for shogi, a news story keeps on coming up about a guy who was fixing a shogi game, and
that was the other thing that's probably a clue. Yeah. Because it's
found dead with the foot removed off the shogi board.
Yeah, and the guy who plays shogi professionally happens to be passing by because they're like, hey, how come that's the term for like cheating at shogi? And Conan's like, I don't know. It's like, hey, I happen to be walking by young children, and also I'm a guy, so it's okay for me to talk to you and not creepy at all. It's because of this specific story of a guy who pretended he was bad at shogi to make people feel better, but then he had a serious match and he played really good. And everyone's like, wait, he was fucking, like, he was just letting us win? What a dick.
Don't hold back, Haraka. Go for the kill.
Yeah. Yes. So basically, that cheating at shogi or match fixing is named after that guy now. That sucks.
Yes, because there's a specific word, and Yumi wants to know what that means, and then I explains.
Yeah.
It's when someone deliberately loses a game, like how Edagawa deliberately loses to you guys when you play video games, because there's like 2 moments where she's just stirring it terribly.
Mm-hmm.
The other bit is when after he wanders off, his girlfriend shows up.
Well, sneaks
up because she's following him because she's like, why is he out in street clothes, shaven? He's up to something.
Look at him. He's dressed all trendy. He's probably cheating on me. I know it is, and your one again stirring shit is exactly. She's going like, yeah, actually that makes a lot of sense when like young couples move in together, like the kind of spark goes. So like, yeah, he's probably out fucking trying to pick up chicks, and she's like, I fucking knew it. Thanks, small child, for confirming my suspicions.
Yeah.
Sean and Conan, you're coming with me against your will to make it look like I'm not me and I'm like a mother walking her child. Which is, and he goes to the trendy donut shop that she said we should go to that trendy donut shop at some stage, and he's picking up donuts, but not for her. I mean, like, she thinks maybe it's for me, and then he immediately walks up to 2 girls, and it's just like, okay, that's it. He's getting fucking bait straight away. She's not going to wait any time. But it's all perfectly innocent. He's teaching these young women to be female shogi masters, I think is the way he puts it. There's a term for it, I've forgotten. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of them is the daughter of one of his rivals. And then we get a flashback to another episode, which I think I've seen that episode.
Okay.
It's one where... God, what's her name? I can't remember the girlfriend's name. Yumi, that's it. Yumi had been kidnapped, so he had to like leave the match in order to take care of that and then come back and win after dealing with that. I think he had to go and play another match against a disgruntled shogi player who had kidnapped Yumi, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and the guy was really gracious about it because he's like, wait, he's been gone like a long fucking time. And it's like, no. He said he'd be back and the clock's still running, so we'll let him play it out. And he comes back with a killer move anyway. So, yeah, he was playing it seriously.
Yes, so there's 2 girls get their name plates appear, then they arrive at their apartment building, and there's another guy whose name plate appears as well.
Not good. They're all there because between them they've rented an apartment for practicing shogi. Seems a bit weird, but all right. And your man's girlfriend is like, "Hey, you're not fucking paying rent in this place as well." He's like, "No. This is their thing. I'm just here to show them the ropes and that kind of thing." One of the girls, there's many hints dropped here, and I could not fucking make head nor tail as usual. One of the girls has a spare key for getting in, which is like prime murder suspect. The guy was already waiting there. So it's like he might have just come downstairs, prime murder suspect. Also,
and he's the one who finds the body.
Yeah, the coffee he has is cold, which one of the girls is like, "Oh, that's too cold for me." And the other one's like, "Oh no, actually, I much prefer it when it's not too hot." One of the girls failed to get curry bread, and I was like, "Is she late to getting the curry bread because she was doing murders?" I have to consider these things.
That old excuse.
It's some hot and cold thing because the clue it gives is everything
there's ice
they brought.
cube trays are out as well in the kitchen.
Yeah, because one girl brought ice cream, one girl brought bread, and the other guy brought coffee. So they have a full bunch of food so they can play shogi properly. So you don't know if the clue is like hot or cold food. You're not entirely sure, but it's something because again, when the guy touches the counter at one stage, his hand recoils. It's like, oh my god. Whether that was because the counter was too hot or too cold, I'm not exactly sure. But it's something.
Yeah. Is this the guy who was depressed, the one who gets murdered?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
He's been having a rough time of it lately. But yeah, they go head up to the apartment. His body is already there.
Oh no, he's not. No, sorry, no. This is a different guy. There's another guy.
Oh, is there 5 guys? One we haven't seen yet. Okay.
One we haven't seen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is Genda Yasukiyo, and there's also Kishimoto Yuhei, who's the one they mentioned, who we don't see yet. So there's another possible guy who might have done it, who we haven't met yet.
It'd be weird to not introduce us to a potential murder suspect if he is the guy who did it. But the other thing is there is another shogi board there or a shogi table or whatever it's called, flipped over, and 2 legs are snapped off it. So this is like a shogi serial killer now at this stage, as far as I can tell.
Yes. So suggest there might be 2 more victims before.
And there's like if one of these 3 guys is the murderer, then there's 2 more fucking potential victims. So that works out. Yeah.
And then after the credits, the detectives show up and do some detectiving. This time round, it is Sato and Takagi, your detectives, having to put up with a small child constantly interfering with a crime scene.
I do appreciate them giving out to them as like, "Hey, would you stop fucking nattering about bullshit back there? A man has been killed, all right?"
Yes, but
Okay.
don't you understand? I'm a small child who loves solving crimes, and I'm a shogi player who also loves solving crimes.
God.
And I'm a policewoman, a beat policewoman who also loves solving crimes.
I mean, like, at least that's her job.
That is her job, but she likes doing detective work, which is probably a little outside her remit.
I mean, like, maybe she's hoping to go from beat cop to detective, but yeah, that's just progressing through the career.
She's traffic police, I believe, as was established in the last episode surrounding.
Probably not the best place to start when you want to become a detective, but okay, fair enough.
Yes, they're still yelling at each other while Conan's rolling his eyes like the little shit he is.
The lady brought the bread, missed the curry, so she could be the murderer. The guy whose coffee was cold, so he could be the murderer. And your one had a spare key, so she could be the murderer. So I'm like, it seems most likely to be the guy because he found the body and also it was already there. But,
yes.
Because you could leave the apartment and just have the door locked behind you. That's easy enough to.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess he's not the daughter of the already established character because I don't think he's ever done that in the story as far as I know. Of like having an established character and then introducing a relative who instantly turns out to be a murderer.
Yeah, it would be.
But first time for everything.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's because you don't expect it to be a good one to go with.
It's been 1,000 episodes. You gotta shake it up once in a while. Keep any marriage fresh.
Yep. Oh, isn't there like isn't there like some sort of weird shot of they're imagining like how happy his family must be, and we get like a comedy shot of like all his.
Yeah, he's
mum.
so fucking carefree. Like, obviously, the rest of his family were like all fucking dunderheads like him, and it's just like, no, like, Conan's thinking like all his fucking family are like super serial all the time.
Yes. Two of them are secret agents.
Yeah.
And one's like a teenage detective martial artist.
Who is very serious as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that was a funny drawing.
He's actually fallen
yeah.
far from the tree as an apple. Yeah, yeah.
It is, but it was another thing for Conan to roll his eyes at. Yeah, it's a good episode. I'm liking how quickly we're getting canonical episodes these days. It's not too long a wait.
It's not a huge gap between them. So when all the intros and outros changes, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, there's a new intro, and it's a little bit better than the last one, but it's still not great. And we got another New Year's welcome from Conan, who's been.
God, that's so weird. I don't like him like addressing the camera and talking to me, the audience. It's just like
you. Happy New Year to you.
Hey, Dwayne, I know you've had a tough 2 years. This COVID thing is fucking bananas, but don't worry, I'm Detective Conan. We'll probably get out of this pretty soon. It's like, I don't believe you, Detective Conan, but I don't like the fact that you're talking to me.
He's been a little bit more in it. He's not like saying, "I'm sure we'll get out of it this year."
Hopefully is what he says. Yeah.
Well, he says, "Hopefully, we'll exit this long tunnel soon." That's it. So.
Dear.
Yeah, he's not putting a timeline on it, which is probably the correct thing to do. But yes, it is very weird that he introduces himself to you directly at the start of the year. But I guess it's if you spend your time with him every week, it's a nice thing to do.
Also, like, it's 1,000 episodes in. It's a very, like, for things that are stable in your life, Detective Conan is one of those fucking things, at least.
And he's a character who, in theory, can comment on things in the real world. It would be weird if the Straw Hats turned to camera and started talking about COVID.
The Straw Hat crew, we're like pirates who roam the seven seas. We're here to talk to you today about registering to vote.
As you can see on the boat, we've put in like little strips that show like 6 foot apart increments so we can social distance on the boat. Yeah.
I'm Pirate King. I'm going to introduce fair and equal elections, which you can participate now in your local constituency.
That sounds more like Luffy's dad than Luffy.
That's not Monkey D. Luffy. Get him out of here. It's that fake Luffy from years ago.
And talking to people's parents, Lupin the Third, Part 6, Episode 13, An Invitation from the Past. In which we open with the end of the episode.
Yeah, we open in action as Lupin's running through, trying to catch someone, and there's a bunch of redheaded women that he just keeps murdering.
Jetpack gang, identical female jetpack gang. He's had some done some stunts in his time. So I guess she's gotten pretty good at running like full pelt up a tightrope.
Yeah.
Between two tall buildings.
As jetpack women with, I like the jets are on the hands. That's a nice take because the fuel cylinder seems to be on their back.
Well, you gotta be able to kind of direct yourself around.
Yeah. No, it's a good look, but he just shoots the tank of one of them and knocks him into, and he's shooting the women in front of him on the tightrope. He dodges out of the way of a rocket launched from a building by a bunch of other redheaded women that shoots the redheaded woman in front of him on the tightrope.
They got so many of them. They've got plenty of spares, clearly, so he feels maybe less guilt in taking these ones out.
Also,
but how did he get?
They are far more murderous than most people Lupin comes up against.
Yeah, that's true.
Collateral damage, I mean, fun. Like the rubble is falling, and there's like a woman in the street. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't get out of the way in time. And Lupin, he goes for the save. It's like, how do we get into this crazy, highly dangerous situation? We'll just wind the clock back a couple of days.
Back to the married couple that is Lupin and Jigen. It's like, Jigen, you're getting really good at cooking, man. It's like, I'm not even looking up recipes on the internet. I'm just that fucking good.
I'm just doing it by intuition. Fucking kids these days got it too easy, I tell you.
And Lupin's thing of like, it's like, oh, I guess it's because you got nothing better to do. It's like, that was a personal insult to me, is I'm taking up baking.
Well, Well, can't be on shooting things all the time. You're gonna need something you can fall back upon. So I guess he's gonna open there's a little cafe in France somewhere. Well, at least it'll help us with the cover stories. That could be like I mean, they hit out in France for ages. That could have been their thing. They could open a little bistro.
Yeah, like Jigen's like got it really good. He's even got the little the sausages like cut up into little octopuses, and I was like, fucking, he's gone the whole way on this, man. It's
little touches like that, and Lupin doesn't give a fuck about it.
Yeah, and it's the first reference to them being an old married couple in this episode, which is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, because later on
he buys flowers for his wife.
Yes, someone wants to meet his wife.
Dear.
Fujiko comes to break the pair of theirs wrestling up, and tells him to put some. This feels like super classic Lupin, just dossing really around in a rented accommodation. This time in New York City. Fujiko has got a auction catalogue where a load of treasure with various mythological treasures are being auctioned off from one collector, and
Jigen's like, that seems legit. Really suspect, though, right? That they'd all be from like one guy.
But yes, the actual bait is a particular jewel which is in the catalogue,
which is not named or anything. It's just unknown, cool, giant red gem. And Lupin, that's the only one that he gets serious on. He's like, ooh.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's got to go up. He's got to go up on the roof, kind of smoke and saying, "Dude, what's up with that gem?" I'm saying, well, my granddad, Lupin the First, Arsène Lupin, he had this wicked mansion. They kept all the loot he ever stole inside it. Like, fucking, this vault was impenetrable. And of course, word gets out. Everyone would have a go at breaking into the safe of the greatest known, like, gentleman thief in the world. But none of them could do it, except for one. And this is what they stole from that very vault.
Yep.
Yes. And it's a woman, and she's supposed to be dead. Is the other piece of information we learn at this point.
So they did the case the joint, on the case the auction house, and it's just like, yeah, this is going to be fun. Airtight Zenigars already there. I want starting this fucking very day, everybody comes in. I don't care what their job is, who they are, or what they're doing here.
Into this place. Every other entrance is locked down. I'm gonna personally fucking inspect every motherfucker that comes in. I did like the thing of the flower girl getting inspected later, and she's like, I'm just used to it at this stage. And we have this new woman who's working with Zenigata. I don't know if she's given a name yet. But...
Have to have a female detective to do the frisk downs of the female suspect.
But the fact that he keeps focusing on her, it seems like she's like another character.
It does. There's this whole sequence later on when it just goes through a whole load of women who we've not met yet as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, her pinching the cheeks of this young one to see if it's like, is this a rubber mask? It's like, no, that's her face. Okay, it's not Lupin in disguise. But Lupin, while Zenigata is laying all this out, is in disguise as an old man at the museum. And he's like, okay, what's my in here? And he's like, really nice flower arrangement. I'll ask one of the women showing the artworks is like, hey, who does your flower arranging? They're fantastic. I just got to get some of that for myself. And she gives him advice, which he can promptly go to a florist and get some flowers for his wife.
Hello, young lady. I'm after a bouquet for my wife. You've done this. Oh, thank you very much. I just done this recently, Oh, you're very well accomplished. He's being a charming old man. And you get sort of a port, you can go by there day after day and get another bouquet of flowers. But why, right? What are you doing? And Jigen's going, man, what's the hold up? You're being super fucking cautious about this. Yeah, it's want to do this, this the old-fashioned way. It's got my blood up a little bit.
Just work the job slowly. Like, so by day he's dressing up as an old man and buying flowers, and by night he's working on these nano bugs that he has, which he's then obviously releasing into the flowers on their delivery into the museum.
We see the rest of the gang working their side of it. Fujiko gets in cozy with one of the police officers who's man in the barricade outside and snags some uniforms for him. Jigen's gotten in and he's rigged up the power supply to cut at just the right moment. Goemon is also here because
Goemon eventually arrives. They're all like, where the fuck is Goemon? It's like, oh, he's off training. And then when
you might need some muscle for this if things go south, I suppose. It's like you brought me out all the way across the world for this. Yes, Goemon, come on, you're used to this by now. Yes, but I don't have to like it. Anyways, the night of the heist arrives.
And yes, all going well. They use the little bugs to project a hologram that the gems have already been stolen.
So, yeah, they cut the power temporarily to make it look like, oh no, Lupin's already taken all the gems. It's like, no, he hasn't. He's just trying to create a distraction so he can run in and take the gems.
Yes.
Very good.
As
Lupin
they're doing
plan.
that, disguised as cops, getting told off by the other Interpol lady. The roof explodes, and a whole bunch of identically dressed red-haired women drop into the room, steal everything, and leg it.
In comparison to like Lupin's kind of careful sort of like smoke and mirrors theatrics thing, they just do the full smash and grab.
Yeah.
They may as well have driven a bulldozer to the side of the wall and just put it off.
They basically did. Like, they're heavily armed. They're like out for fucking blood, essentially. And I did like that kind of depiction of it where you're seeing like Lupin's little nanobots that he spent like so many nights like just tinkering with, like just get squished as the building is exploded, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of them get gunned down by the cops as they're gunning the cops down. And Zenigata is stuck in the middle, hiding in the seating.
Because he sees Lupin running away, because obviously you have one guy shooting them and another guy deflecting the bullets, and that guy's running away. It's like, okay, Lupin's already here, but clearly this isn't his plan, so what the fuck is going on? Just as confused.
We get back then to the chase that we first started off seeing it, but now we have more context for it, because the lady about to get crushed by rubble was the florist, and so that Lupin's like, I can't let her get squished, even if I can just if I just reach out with one hand, I can grab that gem of an after, but that's not in me. I gotta be like chivalrous and save her. So he does that, and then that's when the Jeopardy comes down to microphone and saying, "That's you got your too soft, Lupin. That's why you're never gonna beat me." I thought you and me were both trained by the best. I thought you'd be up to you're supposed to be up to stuff, but clearly you've gotten rusty. Like,
so I'm guessing the kind of theme they're going with, like the difference between a thief and a gentleman thief, which is what Lupin is traditionally, and even the third sometimes.
Yes, she says, for someone who sought instruction from Tomoe, you sure are a letdown. So it's not clear. The suggestion is that she's also been trained by Tomoe, but particularly because we see the hand of presumably the silhouetted figure we saw earlier, watching it go down, as we see various women watching as it goes down.
There's lots of them.
Yeah, they're kind of watching
it was like an odd thing
unfold on the news broadcast, I imagine, because it's a big fucking
big
obvious
various
thing.
women of various ages. I'm going to presume like, no, they all look like, oh, some of these could be like thief or criminal characters. Some of them could be average people, or could that just be the persona they've adopted? Are these all like the network of thieves and spies and criminals that has been brought up by Tomoe? It's like Tomoe, Jigen says, who is the Tomoe character? Remember that person who I said was the only one to break into the vault and steal that gem? That was her. And she's also my mother.
Dun, dun, dun.
Mammy Lupin.
Yes. So,
my goodness.
As on Twitter, Monkey Punch's dream of Lupin being like Spider-Man has firmly taken hold in this episode. As he's in New York, he's swinging, saving people, and also a tiny bit of continuity from the comics has been spun out into something much bigger.
And little spider robots.
Yes, little spider robots.
You didn't even know to make those.
And then, interestingly, the new ending theme still set in London.
Yeah, the big obvious red phone box and that kind of thing. Yeah.
So the other thought I was going through is like, oh, was the Moriarty trained by Tomoe as well? Is that how that's all going to loop through?
Okay, yeah, that could work
together.
If it's an international thing of thieves and criminals, yeah. This one was fucking class. Like, again, you have that traditional kind of Lupin opening setup of them dicking around and planning the heist, doing the heist, and then it's like, no, past continuity is gonna fuck everything up.
It was a good heist planning montage there. Like, we got fun. We're in the gallery, we're in the hideout, we're in like, all the side bits, we're in the prep for back, on, you're seeing the whole thing. They're taking like, days, maybe like, possible weeks getting this together.
Yeah.
I do wonder whether we're going to get a Lupin the Second flashback and young Lupin flashback at some point in this series as well.
Because he does mention like growing up in his grandfather's mansion and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Like a Lupin the Second. Like, I wonder, is it like the Joe Stars where it skips a generation where the intermediate ones are kind of lame?
Yeah.
No, his dad's a big old dick in the comics. I've got some of the volumes which have got those young Lupin stories in.
It'd be interesting if they bring back in Albert as well as the potential successor to the Lupin name. Yeah.
If there could be a sort of, did he get some training as well? I don't know.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't assume this like jump to presume that every international team has been trained by this person, or maybe they haven't. I don't know.
I would imagine they have because all of Lupin is canon.
Yes, I mean, part of me suspects is it's going to not be like birth mother at all. It'll be like the mother
figure. Like you
yes.
were my mother as a thief. You made me the thief I am.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's how we tie Albert in as well.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because obviously in part 5 it was like either of them could have been Lupin the Third, according to that.
Yeah. Well, I'm more fine with it being not necessarily familial blood ties, but it being like a mantle to uphold. Anyone can wear the different colored jacket. Yeah.
Implication of this is we're gonna have a real fucking badass old lady thief who still got the skills. I'm always a fan of that kind of character type.
I mean, like, we got one of those old lady badass adventurer types like recently in this show. So yes,
that was just the appetizer. We're getting the main course.
And that's it for this week. We'll argue about what we're going to do next week.
We're going to debate what we're going to do. We're gentlemen.
I mean, I think of the things I watched, Tribe 9 is probably the thing I would add to the docket. But there's 2 more things to watch this week. I've not checked out the Richard III one either, but I don't know. I will probably check that out at least once it's got an opening to make a stupid video where I replace the theme tune with Supergrass's Richard III. Unless that turns out to be the opening. I don't think it will be, though.
So I have a look at least the first one of Microsoft Guardians because I hear that it looks very well. So if it looks very well, I'll give it a look and see. I'm not sure if it's going to be the kind of story that I would want to follow all the way, but maybe it could charm me, yes. And this going to work with us. There's a couple of things here. We mentioned that Tokyo 24th Ward, which I gave some caveats about the animation director saying it's a Doom production essentially. They give him more caveats that it's a double-length premiere episode, which
not the only one. There's something else with double length as well this week.
Sabakui Bisco.
Yeah, I watched half of the monster designing thing, and it didn't raise a laugh. And I watched less than half of Orient, and that is just so bland.
I'll check out some of the new things just out of curiosity, but I was happy enough watching what we already had. I guess for the most part I'm kind of missing the lack of kind of comedy kind of shows, but